Hi, my name is Jazz Cole, and today I will be talking to you about language tutoring and how to find the right one for you. The thing is about language tutoring is that, obviously it does cost money, and I feel like it's something that you should really take seriously when it comes to finding the right fit for you. When you think about it, it's just more of what do you need the tutor for, especially if it's really, really important. Like, for example, like if you are taking a specific language test in which you need to use that language for, let's say, like studying abroad, and you're studying in a country where English is not the taught language. That's really, really important. Also, if you are at all planning on using this language for work-related reasons, that's also very important. Like anything that involves like for you to spend money, I feel like it's really important to, evaluate the reasons why you're learning. You need to learn this language. And then matching your needs with a specific tutor that's going to help you. So I would say the thing is just like, what do you need them for? I mean, I actually tutor people that need homework help. And so that's kind of easy because they already have reasons of why they're coming to me. And then other reasons, have people who just were like, please teach me. And then I have to come up with everything in terms of the curriculum. So that can sometimes be more time consuming as of now, just because I know that I have to create content in order to tutor. So, which I don't mind doing it. I love teaching. But it's just a matter of like when you're looking for a tutor, like what do you need them for? Do you need them to teach you something, or do you need them to help you with homework, or do you need to evaluating what is the reason for why you need their help? My rule of thumb, I will just say, is native speakers. Like a tutor being a native speaker does not always mean that they are the best teacher. Because for one thing is, there are native speakers out there that can effectively tutor and teach their own language, and that's perfectly great. That's perfectly fine. However, there are native speakers that aren't always the best teacher. My boyfriend is German, and sometimes he loses his patience with me. They're like, not every native speaker is always the best at teaching. So I will just say that keep that in mind. You need someone who, in the way, is able to take complex thoughts and concepts and can break them down to where it's simpler for the person who is learning it. Especially like, for example, in French, trying to teach the subjunctive. I'm going to be honest with you, I did not learn how to use the subjunctive until I took an advanced Italian course, and they talked about the subjunctive and how that works. The only thing is the subjunctive in Italian is much more simple with the conjugation versus with French, where the verb changes completely just to fit the subjunctive, which is so confusing. But point is just being able to take that complex topic and being able to make it like dumb it down so that someone can understand it, and then being able to practice it. You want to make sure you're not with someone who's just going to teach it to you and then that's it. You need someone who also is going to help you use it, like practice it. And also, like I would say, just someone who can also challenge you. I feel like if they're not challenging you, they're not preparing you properly. So it just, for example, with my parents, parents, their job, as parents, their job is to prepare me for life. And if they don't give me challenges, like if they don't make me do any chores, or if they don't make me do anything around the house, or if they reward me for bad behavior, then that's not really going to help me in the real world. You can't make it easy on people. You got to make it a little bit harder so that they can handle much more, harder things. So you also want someone, especially if you're using this for reasons, if you're using a tutor for reasons other than homework help, let's say like I mentioned before, like passing a specific language exam, like being able to use it in the workplace. You want them to challenge you to real world things. You don't want them to just spend like your whole time looking at made up sentences. The way that I usually structure my lessons is that, of course, I teach a concept. I talked about the construction of it, especially if it involves like sentence building And then from there, I give some examples that I make up. And then, of course, at the end, I give real world French. And I actually go out and I find these things. If you have not seen our video on how to use a VPN as a language learning tool, strongly recommend it, because that's also how I've been able to find teaching material. So I would just say you just don't want to be learning from someone who is going to use textbook examples. If you see their teaching style and it's just they don't really show you like how it's actually like made. Like one of the things I do, especially with my real life French resources, is what I'll usually do is I will find things, because I can't teach everything and I don't know like every single thing to point out, because and that's the other thing, I will just say, if your tutor says that they know everything, do not work with them, just because even especially if they're a native speaker, because the thing is, you want to be with someone who's going to constantly keep learning, because language is always evolving. Like, we don't talk like we do in Shakespeare time. Language has evolved since the 15th century. So language is constantly evolving throughout time. So like being able to look at things, and for example, when I was looking a while ago when I was with a student, I was showing him a passage of something, and I remember pointing out to him, oh, by the way, this sentence, do you know what this means? This literally means to walk, but you can use it to say this is not running or it's not walking. Like ça ne marche pas. That it means that's not walking, but it contextually means this is not working. It's not functioning. So it's like, being able to teach those kinds of things, especially like when you're using real world examples. I would also say, giving resources, giving you resources and things to work on, at the end of different sessions, are really helpful, because not only that, but they're especially I create worksheets for my students, especially conjugation charts. If it's a new form of conjugation that's completely new to them, I will give sample sentences where I want them to take certain scenarios and actually write something about it. I try not to do the whole fill in the blank with these conjugation. I want them to actually build sentences. You want them to teach you how to use all different forms of communication, if possible. Yeah, it'd be nice to know how to read, write, speak, and listen, because those are, we use it every day. I actually knew someone who told me that, I would love to learn French, but I only want to know how to speak it and hear it. I'm like, well, if you travel somewhere, it's you're going to have a hard time reading things. And if someone says, let me write down my address, let me write down some information, that's going to be a little bit more difficult, so you have to learn something about all four forms of communication. It's just a given. And also, and this is just an obvious thing, you need to have a tutor who has a lot of patience, because especially if you are a beginner. Because I love beginners, because I can just teach concepts and I don't have to worry about because once you get up to a higher level, it's I'm not a native speaker, so you don't need me anymore. My main thing is just here to help you with practice, giving you resources, and so on and so forth. But with beginners, I have a lot of patience, because everything is completely new to those students. So those things, being patient, of course, you want to make sure, if this person ever makes you feel bad about making mistakes, then this is not the right tutor for you. They not the best tutor for you. So, the purpose of tutoring, from my standpoint, has always been to give confidence to someone. So you cannot build confidence if a person feels like they're afraid to make mistakes, because that's the learning part. And even going in on that is, do they give you constructive feedback in a way that's not mean? For example, when my students have issues with pronunciation, I will correct them immediately, but it's just okay, yeah, that word means this, or that word is pronounced as this, and then they repeat it. And they're like, oh, what was that? Repeat it. You're doing great. Encouragement through feedback. Honestly, I feel for the students that pay me, I'm just I would not want to pay someone something and they're not giving me honest feedback. I'm paying you to teach me to teach me accurate information. That's what education really is. It's teaching someone fact from fiction, accurate things. So if I'm not teaching you, like if you're making mistakes and I'm not correcting you on that, then you did not get your money's worth. I'll just say that right now. Also that one of the things I personally do, and I think that a lot of tutors should do, is keeping track of their students' progress. And for me, I always have like these Google Docs of every student I've ever had and their progress. What did we go over today? And what homework did I give them? What did I observe? And what is the goal for next time? So, when you have those kinds of situations, when you have students that are specifically coming to you to learn the language, not for homework help, because homework, that's based on whatever their teacher is teaching them. But when you have someone who is trying to get you to teach them, you want to know what content you went over. How do they do with that content? Because it's like, the conditional, they didn't really get that. I think I'll probably need to go over that again in a different way, or I might need to do more activities to get this person to use this. Okay, they understand the concept of this topic, but they need to practice it. I need to, so like, okay, this day I'll go over conjugation for this particular sentence, and then I will then later, let's say the next day, okay, they understand the concept. Let's try to get them to write it, like to actually practice it. So that way, not only that for students, they know that they're getting they understanding that their lessons are being structured around what their needs are. And then also that you're not going over information that they don't need. It's like if I see that they understand the concept of indicative conjugation, I don't need to go over that again. Maybe like a worksheet so that they can review on their own. But basically, in terms of that 1 hour that or however long that they're paying you for that session, you want to make sure you have someone who's tracking your progress and actually listening to you. It's like, hey, I actually, I don't know what you plan to go over today, but I actually really have a question about this. And if they're not like encouraging you to bring questions of your own to the table, and they're not encouraging you to, get excited about whatever language that you're learning, because to me, it's exciting. I feel like you should always, be with a teacher or a tutor that is really excited about what they're teaching, because I remember it makes all the difference. It really does make all the difference. I mean, when I was in high school, I was taking AP statistics, and that was it was an advanced class. I got through it, and I enjoyed, that class, because the teacher really loves statistics, and that makes all the difference. I hope that this helps you when if you are looking for a language tutor. I hope this gives you kind of like a checklist or some ideal characteristics you might need to look for. So I'll see you next time. Bye.